This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
Soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
America's falling, they all say. Gather the faithful now and pray. The Patriots Prayer. The Patriots Prayer. All the wicks are trimmed, oil is filled to the brim. I haven't changed yet somehow. I'm radical now. America's falling, they all say. Gather the faithful now and pray. The Patriots Prayer.
Ladies and gentlemen, and patriots of this great nation of ours, Eddie Smith here from the Patriots Prayer Podcast, and I'm coming to you with a heavy heart, with concern not just for our freedoms, but for the fabric of justice in America altogether. And today, we are going to uncover a chilling tapestry of what is not just oversight, but orchestrated misconduct by none other than the FBI. Picture this. The Whitmer kidnapping plot. We've all heard about it. It was painted as a sinister plan set by extremists. But peel back the layers, and what do we find? A narrative crafted by the very agency tasked with upholding law and order. Informants not just whispering in the right ears, but planting seeds, cultivating a narrative. Was this a plot to kidnap or a plot by the FBI to entrap? The courts are asking the same questions, and we know the answer now. And let's not forget the echoes of the Trump-Russia collusion saga, a tale that began with whispers of foreign meddling. But as the dust settled, what did we uncover? A rush to judgment, fueled by unverified dossiers, leading to an investigation that by its own admission lacked the actual evidence it should have demanded from the beginning. It was political warfare that should have never been engaged in by an office that should have never taken part in it. Now, also consider the parents at school board meetings voicing concerns becoming subjects of surveillance. Not for any criminal act, but for daring to speak out. Church gatherings, once a sanctuary of peace, now under scrutiny. Are we seeing a pattern? Are you getting it yet? A chilling effect on free speech where the mere act of questioning becomes a red flag. The FBI, an institution that we're told stands for truth and justice, that they may be weaving a completely different narrative, not just by mistake, or not just talking about mistakes that they've made, but a culture where they blur the lines between protecting America and protecting a narrative or a political party. The question that we must ask ourselves in the quiet of our homes, in the heart of our nation, is this: are we, the citizens, subjects in the eyes of those who are supposed to protect and serve us? This isn't about conspiracy. It's about the very essence of our trust in our institutions, in our law enforcement institutions at that. When the protectors of our republic become its potential assailants, where do we turn? The path forward is murky and it's filled with shadows of doubt. But remember, in America, the power lies with us, the people. We must demand transparency and accountability and truth and justice, not just for some, but for all. This is Eddie with the Patriots Prayer Podcast, urging you not just to listen, but to act. Our prayer as patriots isn't just for our safety, but it's for the soul of our republic. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and let's reclaim our trust, not through fear, but through the unwavering light of truth. God bless America and God bless the truth. We have to get back to the basics. Folks, thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Patriots Prayer, where we ask these questions and more.
Well, Eddie, thank you for having me on the show, and I really appreciate you doing this at such a short notice. The thing is that my son and I went to Washington, D.C., and we were going there in order to think that we were going to have a constitutional election, but J6 ended up taking place. My son and I actually videoed somebody else, Hunter Allen Emke, who was breaking into the windows and everything, and I gave my card as a congressional candidate to the police officer, the Capitol police officer there, and we didn't think anything about it. We were recording, helping, and stuff. What ended up happening is that on January the 8th, because my son had gone on live on Facebook and had made statements like, we're storming the Capitol, we're storming the Capitol, we can't, they can't stop us, and we're going to bum rush this shit. And when making those statements, what ended up happening is that Michael Brown, a federal agent, went in on January the 8th, and he then turned and said that my son entered into the Capitol, fought with Capitol Police, and killed Brian Sicknick. Now, we know that later on, what ended up happening with Brian Sicknick was that he died of a brain aneurysm the next day. And so for 2.5 years, while we were waiting to go to trial, my son was then lied about in the his trial, stating that the Capitol Police were so scared that they could not turn their back on us, when that was not the truth. And we had video evidence that contradicted everything. But my son was convicted of the 1512C2, which was later overturned by the Supreme Court, that it wasn't interrupting a congressional Senate hearing. Also, he was convicted of the 1517 1A and 1B, which was being on Capitol grounds and remaining there. And the thing one must question is this: why have they not arrested me? Why have they not come after me? And they've only gone after my son, when I even testified in his trial that he was with me 100% of the time. Then we go to the sentencing, where the prosecutor lied about what was going on and wanted my son to serve 2 years in prison, 5 years at a halfway house in Washington, D.C., pay $212,179 in restitution. The way they came up with that was $100,000 from each misdemeanor, and then the $12,179 was what he was given by Patriots on the Give Send Go. Now, the attorney stated that they had a receipt for $12,179, so every penny went to the attorney fees, and he didn't profit, which was what the prosecutor was trying to state. Now, what's really interesting is that he was given 90 days instead of what the prosecutor had asked, and he lives in Texas. But what's really interesting is that I am running for Congress here in Arizona, and my son is being brought here to Arizona to serve out his 36 days, and I'm going to win my election on November the 5th, and my son's going to be incarcerated in a prison here in Arizona. So what does that say about our system, and what our FBI and our the DOJ and our corrupt judicial system that we have? So we're trying to get the word out. My son is going to have to turn himself in on Sunday. And we are, literally fearful for his life. That's what this comes down to, is that his life is now in danger, all because his father's being elected as a U.S. congressman.
So, real quick before I let you go, I know you're on your way somewhere. Am I to understand correctly? We had spoke earlier that they literally doctored evidence against your son.
Correct. What they did was is that even in the sentencing phase, the prosecutor tried to introduce two pictures that had been doctored, and my son looked at it and he said, "We need to pull the original pictures that was introduced during the original trial." And when they did, they found out that they had doctored those pictures, which now made the judge blow a gasket, basically, and state that you do realize that this is going to go to appeal. And I suggest that you prepare for that, but I also suggest that you prepare personally for what has happened today. And so that's one of the reasons why he threw out the 2 years imprisonment, 5 years at a halfway house, the $212,179. All of that got thrown away. However, we're now looking at 36 days here in Arizona, in the same state that his father's going to be elected as a congressman on November 5th.
Amazing. And that's why this is why I'm telling people there's FBI misconduct at the highest level. The law enforcement agency, they all once admonished as something that is completely so respectable, upstanding, patriotic, that we thought were out there fighting for our country to keep us safe. Turns out to be something altogether different. I've talked to Kyle Seraphin, Nate Kane, as you know, all these guys, Garrett O'Boyle, many others have came forward to state that this is not the agency that we all think it is. What is going on today that's different? Has it become corrupt? Was it always corrupt? Is it only corrupt at the highest level? We don't know, and we definitely hope that this coming election will put someone in office that will try to get to the bottom of things, start replacing and fixing and repairing some of these things, because the reputation of this agency is tarnished, and some say well beyond repair. What say you about this?
Well, I definitely think that it's beyond repair, because the whole thing was started and a no-knock warrant was served on my son on February the 4th, because they said he entered into the Capitol, fought with Capitol Police, and was directly responsible for killing Brian Sicknick with a fire extinguisher, which ended up not being true. So they should have never prosecuted my son when they couldn't prove that any of this, and we had evidence to the contrary that shows that we were assisting and helping the Capitol Police.
So there's prosecutorial misconduct afoot. Now, if your son goes to prison, he's going to turn himself in, and he's going to do a little bit of time in prison behind this. However, if that happens and the case hasn't been heard on appeal, does that turn into a case of false imprisonment?
Well, it very well can be. The reason why they should be delaying this is because it is on appeal, and why is there such a rush to judgment here and trying to get this sentencing and him in prison? Why are they rushing this when they already know that it's on appeal? We have appealed it, and we're waiting for it to get on the docket. Yet they want to incarcerate him for 36 days, which just so coincides with me on November 5th being elected into the U.S. Congress.
So your fear is that the federal government is moving your son to your state to put him in a federal prison, which I know to be one of the worst in the nation for various reasons, especially gang violence. And you think that the reason that they're doing this is to intimidate you and put your son's life at risk.
I do. I really believe that.
Well, sir, our prayers will be with you. And Patriots, tune in on Sunday at 11 a.m. as we follow this story, to its ultimate conclusion. And your son will be turning himself in on that day as well, correct?
Correct. At 10 o'clock Sunday morning, he'll be turning himself in.
Okay. So, what I can do for you that morning is we will reach out. I'd like to hear from him before he goes in. We're going to put this out, and we're going to, Patriots, if you're watching this, guys, the thing that I'm asking you to do, that this family is asking you to do, that you need to do for your country, is get all of this on record. Like, follow, share this far and wide, because the biggest protection that people can have from situations like this is that everyone knows about it, so they can't act on anything. So guys, that's what I want you to do. Tell a friend, clip the video, put it on your social media feeds, put it out, let everyone know, because that's how we keep people safe. And that's what we do for Patriots. We stand up for one another and we do whatever it takes. So my prayers are with you and your son, and I will talk with you again on Sunday, sir.
All right. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you, sir. That is a father. Patriots, that is a father who fears for the life of his son, just like you would fear for the life of your son or daughter in the same exact situation. They are supposed to be the good guys. The FBI is the good guys. That's what we were all told. They're the good guys. They're protecting us. They're keeping us safe. They're keeping the country safe. They're not answering. Listen, I have seen them absolutely right out not comply with subpoenas. I have saw Christopher Wray absolutely fib on the stand in front of Congress. I saw it. Everyone saw it. The FD 1023 forms, they protected the Bidens. This is, minds are completely blown at this point, but it doesn't end there. My next guest is Eric Molitor. And I want Molitor. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Eric. He was falsely blamed and accused of a kidnapping plot against Gretchen Whitmer. Now, I'm going to bring Eric up. Eric, thank you for joining us, sir. I have been looking forward to doing this interview with you that we're going to do on Sunday for some time. But in just a brief, real quick, high-level overview, tell the people what happened to you. Don't give them too much. I want them to come on Sunday and hear the whole story. But tell us what the FBI did for you. Tell them how they helped you out and protected you.
So I'm one of 14 men who was in Michigan here, accused in the Governor Whitmer kidnap plot. And dude, it's hard to say. The government pretty much just does whatever it wants, man. A lot of us were directed by the FBI agents and their confidential human sources. There were just as many of them as the supposed domestic terrorists in the group, which I guess is pretty unheard of. So that's interesting. But yeah, they kind of just swooped in during a presidential election and tried to use us to show that there is this domestic terrorist problem in the U.S. and the laws that were going to come down the pipe. If they could have got all the convictions against every single one of us, they were going to be pretty gnarly, So it was completely politically motivated. There's still 5 guys in prison right now who are innocent. Adam Fox, Barry Croft, Joe Morrison, Pete Musical, and Paul Beller. So they're sitting in prison right now.
Now, you were contacted by a group of men or man, pass himself off as someone who wanted to hire you for a security job. Most of you guys didn't even know each other. Right? You were brought together by this undercover FBI group. And the story was that you all belonged to a white supremacist group that was then infiltrated by the FBI. What are the facts surrounding that?
So there's a lot of misinformation that was put out there. I was never a part of any militia during that time, especially. So I was not part of any groups. This whole thing about, this is the second time that you've mentioned to me actually about us supposedly being a racist group. And it's actually proven, like that was one of the things that the FBI said when they were checking out the Woodward Watchmen and whatnot, was that they were not a racist group, that they were equal opportunity. They were just a militia. The FBI got in there and, they directed the conversation. They literally wrote script for, and had these people play parts. They fed them alcohol and marijuana and they hyped them up. There's a double agent involved in all of this. There's so much, man.
Look, guys, listen, there's so much to this story. There's a lot of rabbit holes that we could go down through every piece of this story. And we are going to go down a lot of those rabbit holes. And I want you to understand, guys, the world right now is upside down. What's bad is good. What's good has been bad. Victims are now criminals. Criminals are now victims. Innocent people are being, sought after as criminals by the once, very much admired organization we all know as the FBI. And all in an effort to create this fake narrative around white supremacy being the biggest threat there is to national security. Fake Russia collusion, fake Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping, fake terroristic parents that just don't want their kids exposed to pornography in their school or exposed to trans people coming into the classroom, twerking, reading them books. What's going on right now, guys, it's not a plot against our country from some foreign invader coming into our country. It is our own government, our own federal government, our own government at the highest levels that are acting against us, its own citizens, in an attempt to tear down this republic that we know and love so much. And we know that because those that regard, love, and protect this republic the hardest, the ones who care about it the most, are the ones they target. And that's how we know who they are. That's how we know what they are. Eric, thank you so much for taking the time, brother. And we will be seeing you on Sunday at 11 on the Patriots Prayer. Guys, I hope that you join in. I know that you will. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be, what's the word? Based. It's going to be based and then some. So we will see you then. And as usual, the silent majority, you need to stop being silent and stand your ground. We'll see you Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time on the Patriots Prayer Podcast.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
Soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
America's falling, they all say. Gather the faithful now and pray. The Patriots Prayer. The Patriots Prayer. All wicks are trimmed, oils filled to the brim. I have been changing some.